Hello and welcome to another episode of Crushing Comics. I'm your host, Peter, and this is the show where I fall in love with my comic book collection all over again, but I have a special treat today because my second order of books from the States has arrived here in New Zealand. So we're going to crack this open and see what new books are joining the collection. I ordered this order on October 3rd from In Stock Trades, and it winged its way here. Let me tell you, man, one of the things that I'm learning about living outside of America in general, but especially like living all the way around the world from America, is the amount of consumer choice in America is just amazing. Like the amount of things you can choose from and how quickly you can get them shipped to your house and how cheap they are. Just incredible. And there might be points in America where you're like, oh, I can't get this one imported book or a certain kind of food or something, but let me tell you, totally different anywhere else. I'm paying like a third of how much I'm paying for these books just to get them here. Crazy. So, let's see what's in the box. Because I have no recollection at this point what's in here or why I ordered it. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so the first thing here is the 4th volume of DC Superhero Girls. We love these so much in our house. So I was really hesitant to get into books that were like kidified heroes, because sometimes they can be written very unintelligently and it's like a lot of kind of like gross out humor and just silliness. Like I tried to sample Tiny Titans or Teen Titan Go or one of those, and the book was just... I don't even think it was the right maturity level for my 4-year-old. I think it was like for a 1.5-year-old. So, especially because the DC Superhero Girls, I was afraid that it was ghettoizing the female characters to kind of be like useless princesses, and so I was very hesitant to pick it up. But we bought them in California en route to New Zealand, so I was like, well, at worst, it could be something to read on the plane. And my daughter already loves Wonder Woman because we've actually been reading the Perez Wonder Woman, and she loves DC Superhero Girls. Loves them. It's written with just enough maturity that it, to her, feels like big kids in school, but it's written at a level that she can now read by herself after I've read it to her once or twice. So this is the 4th one, Pastimes at Superhero High. It stars the primary cast of the heroes, which is Wonder Woman, Batgirl, and Supergirl. And then the kind of one that's in the middle is Katana, who I know has been a hero for a while now, but she's much aloof here, much as if she's aloof in the comics. And then Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, who are kind of like the bad girls. They're not villains, though. It's kind of like they're represented as bad girls in that they don't always make good choices, or their choices don't always turn out okay. Like Poison Ivy's plants are always getting away from her. So we'll be reading that very, very soon. Let's see what's next. Oh, this is a series that I love, and it is the end. Oh... Shudder by Joe Keating and Leila De Luca. This is one of my #1 Image recommendations. If you love Saga and you were like, wow, I've never read anything else like this in my life before, what else could satisfy me? Buy this book. It's in 5 trade paperbacks. Hopefully if we keep buying them and getting more people to buy them, eventually we can get it in one complete hardcover edition. It's so hard to explain. It's like the daughter of a world-renowned adventurer and archaeologist, again in that kind of Indiana Jones mold, which I know I've mentioned on some recent episodes, has now forged her own life, but she's world famous for being an adventurer with her father, and now the mystic parts of the world are coming after her for something that she's not sure if she really understands. I've only read the first 3 collections and I'm just obsessed with it, so I decided I wanted to hold off for the 4th and 5th one to get here before I read the rest of the series. Fantastic. I could not more highly recommend it. One of my favorites. Let's see what else we got here. An invoice. So, I'm a sucker for these weird collections. This is Spider-Man, Daily Bugle. And it collects kind of these like weird miniseries, Daily Bugle 1 through 3 and Deadline 1 through 4. I probably have them in floppies in all honesty, but I love all these like weirdball sideline Spider-Man series. And you know, it's hard to think of how they could be comprehensively collected because they all splinter in a lot of different directions. They've happened at different times. It's not like the Venom 90s series where they kind of just can like blow through them in big chunks. So anytime there's a little collection of more than one of the series, I'm usually in. Some of this I'm noticing is black and white, which is pretty cool. I don't really know too much else about this, so I'm really excited to read it, quite honestly. Bloodstone and the Legion of Monsters. So this collects Legion of Monsters 1 through 4 from 2011, which is a book that I already have collected and have already read. But it picks up a couple of other stories that have not been collected previously. Astonishing Tales, Boom Boom and Elsa, which is probably a digital first book, and some material from Rampaging Hulk that adds some background to Elsa Bloodstone, who I forget if she's the father or the sister. Or her father was the previous Bloodstone that we knew, Ulysses Bloodstone. So this was a little bit of a double dip for me, but my rationale was that this main monster series, I think I want to say maybe it's an oversized hardcover. I could be wrong. So this is like a fun thing to fill out the shelf, and generally I am in for any kind of female protagonist book just because I love to support them and I know I'll eventually enjoy it. Plus some of this black and white art from the, I guess these are the Rampaging Hulk backups. This art is righteous, man. It is really good. Check this out. Who is this artist? John Buscema, but in black and white. I guess that's my theme this week, is black and white art. This is fantastic. So I'm excited for that. I love these off the beaten path things, you know? Like, these are things that I never had the chance to read before, and it just makes me pretty excited. So I have a whole other brick in here. Let's see. Oh, speaking of off the beaten path things I never had the chance to read before. We are going to add one to the oversized shelf today, too. So in this brick, we've got a new Thor Epic Collection, Volume 3, which is Thor 131 to 153, and it's kind of on the heftier side for an Epic Collection. This is, you know, I'm waiting to accumulate like a whole run and just sit down and read it. Thor, you know, funny, I always really liked Thor in concept in the 90s when I was collecting, and I had a fair amount of Thor in my collection, but I didn't really read him a lot. And I don't know if I was like waiting to get a run or if I just couldn't decide to commit the time to it. I'm not sure what my deal was. But I've actually now spent the time to read him in modern day, and I really enjoy Thor. I think he has a well-developed rogues gallery and supporting cast where he can do the Asgardian stuff, he can do cosmic stuff, he sometimes has some conflict on Earth. Jason Aaron is writing him spectacularly now, so Thor is kind of like one of the heroes that I first expanded my collection to after I really had my X-Men stuff down. I think I went X-Men, and then Fantastic Four, and then Thor. And previously there wasn't like a ton of Thor collected, and so it's really cool now to see it get such coverage. I mean, they're really zooming through a series. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Thor epics already, so that makes 8. And I think there's only going to be a total of like 20-ish, because 17, yeah. So we're almost halfway. Speaking of epics, here's another one, something I never in my life thought would get collected. This is Doctor Strange Epic Collection 13. And so this is probably the last Doctor Strange Epic Collection. I mean, I guess they could probably go forward from this, but the next chronological Doctor Strange material is Flight of Bones, which they've already collected into a non-epic collection. And this is the very end of his 1990-ish series. It collects 76 through 90, which has some, I want to say, Warren Ellis on writing? Yeah, in addition to Kurt Busiek and some other folks that you might not know. But, this is something that I banked the floppies, actually, because I was like, there's no way Marvel's ever going to put this in a collection. Yet, here it is. That's the beauty of the Epic Collections. They're, like, indiscriminate about the material that they're gathering. It's coming from somewhere, and they're going to cover it, whether it's, like, the top seller or not, because the whole point is the Epics are going to collect everything, and it makes me really excited, because now I guess I can sell my floppies, although the floppy market in New Zealand may be non-existent. I don't know yet. And finally, this finishes out the Master of Kung Fu omnibuses. It's Volume 4 of Shang-Chi, collecting 102 to 125. Plus, as everybody hoped that it would, it keeps going from there to collect Shang-Chi's backup in Marvel Comics Presents from 1988, 1 through 8, and a one-shot called Master of Kung Fu Bleeding Black. So that's really exciting. It covers all of the Doug Munch stuff that ends the series and pretty much takes this character all the way through gosh, almost the whole 90s. He did not guest appear a lot, and you can check that out in my Shang-Chi guide. So now I've got them all, and I finally, I don't know where that other one got shelved. Oh, there it is. Now I've got them all. We can go right to a ceremonial shelving for this. And once I unpack my other ones, I can finally do my read. So that is really exciting. So that's my in-stock trades order of the 2nd or 3rd of October. So it took not quite 2 months to get here. It seems like 5 or 6 weeks is the standard. They go on a ship, so I guess that's not too surprising. But so happy to unwrap those books. Probably the one that I'm the most excited to read from that lot is probably Shudder. I'm probably going to take the whole pile of Shudder trades upstairs and just read through the entire series, because that is really exciting stuff. So thanks so much for tuning in to this very rare unboxing interview. I'm interviewing the box, the camera's interviewing me. It would be fun, actually, if you interviewed me and asked me questions. That's something to think of for the future. But thanks so much for tuning in, and tune in next time for more unwrapping of the mysterious packages still left in my shelf here at Crushing Comics.